I, 48 male, have a son who graduated high school this year. We, my wife and I, started his college fund the minute we found out she was pregnant. Since we make good money in the mid-six figures, his college fund currently has almost $400,000. We've never told our son what to do with his life. We may have guided his decisions as any good parent should, but since he was still young, we let him make his own decisions. We never expected academic excellence or forced him into sports or artistic activities. After graduating high school, he said he didn't want to go to college. We said he could do whatever he wanted as long as he was sure. He refused trade schools too. He also didn't want to work with us in our business. He said that he planned to use his college fund to start a business of his own. I said that I would allow it only if he took some business management, accounting and law classes in the nearby community college. I said that I would pay for them out of pocket and not from the fund, and then I would expect a well-made business plan before giving him the money. My wife agrees 100%. But he called us idiots for holding his college fund hostage to make him do what we wanted. We think we're just doing our best to ensure that his business succeeds. So, am I the idiot for refusing to release my son's college fund to him until he takes some college classes? You are the idiot. The money was saved for him. If he has a solid business plan, the money is an investment, just as it would have been for his education. In addition, he also needs to work in the field of the business he's interested in. Taking a few classes is still setting him up for failure. You are the idiot. You're attempting to over-control your child, and that's not your role. You save for him. Accept that he isn't going to college, give him his gift with no strings attached, and learn how to deal with it in a way that isn't manipulating your children. I'm not surprised if he goes no contact with you over this. I'll probably get downvoted, but not the idiot. You're not holding it hostage for any selfish reason. You're trying to help him get and stay on a good track in life. You even offered to pay for the classes out of pocket and not from the college fund. You're trying to support him, but you're also trying to stay realistic and make sure he knows what he's doing so he doesn't make a $400,000 mistake. He's probably got this cool business idea of opening a shop for insert hobby that will be used primarily to give him free access to hobby goods. How many teens want to open a skateboard shop for nothing other than the ability to play with every board in the shop? Ignoring it would be difficult, if not impossible, to sell such a used board, even if they were able to attract customers in the first place. Personally, I'd hold the money back and allow it to be used for things like a wedding, house deposit once married, education or trade schools, etc. A business venture would be a push, and I treat it more like a loan, in that if he can't get approved for a loan from a bank with his plan, he can't get the college fund. I think your son is acting incredibly entitled and doesn't realize how lucky he is even to have a college fund set aside for him. So many adults are drowning in student debt. He needs some big picture perspective. It sounds like you're doing everything right in this scenario, and how awesome that you and your wife had the foresight and the means to contribute to a college fund for your son. Way to go, Dad! My girlfriend and I are currently on vacation in Croatia. We booked a small villa from Airbnb, which we've been staying in this last week. 3 days ago, the water heater stopped working, so we called the owner. A few hours later, he brought a plumber with him. After some investigation, he told us that the issue would take a week or more to solve because the plumber told him that the heater was old and needed replacing, so he needed to shop for a new one, and that it needed to be installed in a new location. He told us that he would refund the amount we paid for that day, plus the remaining days of our booking, and if we wanted to stay despite the lack of hot water, he would give us a much cheaper rate, 40% off. We were having a great time and enjoying our stay because the villa was lovely. The view of the beach was incredible and looked much better than the heavily edited pictures you see on the internet, not to mention that it was a good deal, especially with the newer rate. Hence, we decided to stay after I told my girlfriend that we could just shower using a bucket. Something to note, my girlfriend has never showered that way. She's American, but still I assume that many people from the US would have at least heard about it despite never trying it. Growing up, I exclusively showered that way at home until we could afford a heater and its monthly costs. The only showers I took at home before were with cold water. She was surprised to hear it and thought I was joking at first. The following day, I gave her some tips, and after she was done, I asked her how it went. She said it was more of a chore than a shower. Last evening, she went to take a shower again before getting ready to leave for dinner. After she was done, she started complaining non-stop about showering with a bucket, saying it was very primitive and couldn't believe that some people really showered that way because she felt like a Neanderthal the whole time. I wasn't too fond of her comment because it was disrespectful. She apologized, saying her comment wasn't directed towards me but towards the people who still shower this way. I told her that her clarification made her comment 100 times worse because it was insulting to a lot of people. She replied that she didn't know what I wanted her to say because she'd already apologized and asked if I was just looking to argue for no reason. I told her that the last thing I wanted to do is argue with a spoiled child and went downstairs. I waited for her while downstairs she got ready. When she came down, she informed me that she'd be going to the restaurant alone because she didn't want to embarrass me in case she started acting like a spoiled child. I tried apologizing for my comment, but she just ignored me and left. It's 3:30 now, and she just returned half an hour ago. I tried talking to her again, but she told me she was tired and wanted to sleep. Not the idiot. I mean, I get it. I too hate showering with a bucket, especially since I'm used to a luxurious shower with hot running fresh water. But she was acting like a spoiled child. She doesn't even realize what a privilege it is to be able to complain about that sort of thing. Many people worldwide do not have access to that type of luxury, and to be honest, it's probably a lot more eco-friendly to shower with a bucket than to have running water anyways. You are the idiot, she commented from a place of privilege. On the other hand, losing access to running water is a big deal if you lack other experiences. The girlfriend agreed to stay, but only after you suggested this method. Critical to this is that you are used to this method of showering, so you likely gave off the vibe that it's not a big deal, and that probably is true. But to you it comes natural, experience, and to her it does not, lack thereof. A lot of people comment that having water is a privilege for some. Excuse me, but that's my vacation I paid for, and I can complain if something is not how I want it. Other people don't pay for my vacation. Sure, she agreed to stay, but I think a person can complain a little bit. At least I call it venting. I know I can't change it, but I can still voice out it bothers me. Agree. You seem to take her comment as a personal attack, although it wasn't one, and threw a personal attack back at her that I'm guessing was to hurt her on purpose. Was she acting privileged? Yes. Did you need to call her a spoiled child? Probably not. Both are idiots, but both with valid reasons. My fiancé, 26, and I, 21, have been dating for 2 years. He's honestly been the best boyfriend and support person in my life. In the past, I honestly lost all my faith in men due to many bad experiences, and he was the one to restore it. My fiancé had been married before, but his wife unfortunately passed away due to someone driving under the influence. My fiancé and my fiancé's family described her as a fantastic woman who was a saint. Sometimes I feel like I'm compared to her, and even get comments from my fiancé's family members that I look and sound like her. It sometimes makes me a little uncomfortable because I'm not her replacement. I always knew that my fiancé kept some of her belongings, including her engagement and wedding ring. I'd always been okay with it, but I never expected him to propose to me with her ring. When he proposed, he organised a family picnic to announce my pregnancy. Honestly, I've never seen a picnic so fancy before. Everything was perfect. His family and mine were both there, but when he proposed, I saw that the ring he chose was his deceased wife's ring, and I was a little taken aback. I hesitated before I said yes, and his sisters and mom noticed. Later on, his sisters and mom questioned me about it as if they were some kind of interrogation squad, and I was honest. I told them I felt uncomfortable being proposed to with his deceased wife ring, and that it belonged to her and not me. They told me that my fiancé wanted to pick a meaningful ring and nothing spoke to him but his deceased wife's ring. I answered back saying that I would have been happy with any ring, even if it was a freaking ring pop candy, but something doesn't sit right with me being proposed to with his dead wife's ring. They told my fiancé, who's been a little distant ever since. I love him and don't want this to ruin our relationship. I understand he's still hurting about his wife dying, but sometimes I feel like he's trying to replace her with me, and I can't be her because I'm me. Am I the idiot for being upset? Not the idiot. By proposing with his dead wife's ring, it seems like he's trying to replace her with you. That ring should be a memory of his late wife, not something he should want to see on anyone else's hand. You're not a walking memorial. If you weren't pregnant, I would say rethink the whole relationship. It sounds like she should rethink the relationship regardless. The creep factor is off the scale with this one, and under no circumstances should a child be in the middle of this insanity. The ring is meant to represent your relationship and your commitment. In your shoes, I would have said no and likely lost it. How thoughtless. Has it occurred to you that losing your faith in men at 19 years old is exactly the scenario that would lead you to pick a horrible partner? Either you've been through extreme trauma as a teenager, or you're still very immature or emotionally stunted. Are you sure you're ready for marriage and kids at 21? Are you sure this guy is the best you can do? Don't you want to be your partner's equal? OP, you deserve more than doesn't beat me or has a job or hasn't cheated. You deserve to discover who you are as an independent adult. Find your footing in the world, mature into a great partner, get therapy, and then meet someone amazing who feels like your equal. Someone with whom you can communicate openly and build a life that's your own with a partner who knows you. It doesn't sound like this guy or his family is it. It's not about the ring per se, it's the whole situation. 1,000 times this. You're way too young. He's widowed at 24? How long ago? You need to wait and wait. He's trying to replace her with you. Go to counselling and get your own damn ring. My future sister-in-law Liz has turned into a bridezilla and is going to war with everyone over every stupid thing. My natural colour is red. I love my hair. Liz is a blonde, but she loves to have red hair, and ever since meeting me, she's been dyeing her hair almost exactly my colour. I don't mind. I think it's weird that she does it, but I don't have a monopoly over this particular shade of red, and she's free to do with her hair whatever she wants. Well, she told me this week that I should dye my hair a different colour because she wants her hair to be unique at her wedding. She offered to cover all the costs as well. I just said no because it's my hair. I don't want it changed. I told my brother and he told me to do whatever I wanted because it's my hair. He said he'll talk to Liz to get her to back off. Well, it didn't work because Liz had come to my parents and they've taken her side. They say it's her special day and we need to be more accommodating, and it's important for our future relationship that we get along. I believe I am accommodating. She can do whatever she wants with her hair. How is my hair any of her business anyway? My parents tell me that I should be the bigger person. I don't know why an 18-year-old should be the bigger person compared to the 27-year-old Liz. They told me I'm making this minor issue into a big problem and that I should do what she wants because it's her wedding. Am I the idiot for not giving in? Not the idiot. If she wants to have original hair for her wedding, maybe she should use her natural hair, not yours. It is absurd, rude, and wrong to ask people in your wedding party to change their physical appearance for your wedding. There is no reason you should damage your hair for one day. And OP isn't petty enough or immature enough to care about it despite being almost a decade younger, and now Bridezilla wants OP to dye her natural hair colour so Bridezilla can feel unique. If she wants unique hair, she should make it neon, green or purple. Let her be the one to damage her hair. You can try telling her that since everyone knows your real hair colour if you change it, that will be the talk of the wedding. Oh, didn't she used to have red hair? I like the red so much better. Why did she dye it for the wedding? Imagine how much she will freak out if you tell people she bullied you into dyeing your hair or even if you didn't dye it. Depending on how much she escalates, I would start quietly mentioning it to others. But don't dye your red hair. You can offer not to attend the wedding. Tell her you'll attend his next wedding instead. And sorry to say that your parents are idiots as well. How are your future sister-in-law's concerns more important to them than their own child? I can't imagine the hoops they'll make you jump through when she gets pregnant. I, 43 female, have been very involved in my niece, young teen Scarlett's life. I frequently visit my sister and brother-in-law and often have auntie days with Scarlett, her sister and my own kids. Scarlett is a beautiful, creative and clever girl, but she unfortunately can have an entitled attitude. Her parents are middle class, my sister works part-time while my brother-in-law is a magnet school principal. We explain to Scarlett that she will not get everything she wants in life, but we will always make sure she has whatever she needs. Unfortunately, Scarlett isn't the only one who gets told no, as this applies to every child in our family. Scarlett still believes that because certain kids at her school have more money, she should always get expensive things too. She also believes that because my partner and I make more money, we should buy pricey things for her. My sister and brother-in-law continue to enforce boundaries and say they're waiting for when Scarlett matures. Scarlett's birthday is in a week. We'll be on vacation on that day. So 2 days ago, I treated Scarlett to a mall trip. We had a spa day, got lunch, then were about to head home when Scarlett said she wanted to go to the Apple store. Scarlett showed me one of the MacBook Air laptops and told me she wanted it. I asked if the Chromebook I got her for school was broken. She said it worked, but a girl in her class had a MacBook Air, so she wanted one too. I explained to Scarlett that if she were willing to wait until Christmas, I could try and find one on sale, but I couldn't afford it at the current price. Scarlett began to throw a tantrum because my son has a laptop that's over $2,000, a laptop I got second-hand and which my son has used for over 8 years. I explained this to her, but Scarlett continued her tantrum, calling me a greedy witch. Finally, I firmly told her, "Scarlett, if you do not stop this behaviour right now, I will return your other gifts and you will get nothing from me." Scarlett continued to use profanity towards me, so I told her, "That's it." So we walked back to all the stores and returned everything. Glittery phone case, jewellery, stuffed animals, everything. The only thing I didn't return was a book, but I kept it and told Scarlett I would hold on to it until I felt she'd learn to be grateful. Scarlett whined in the car about not getting the things, and I told her, "Scarlett, if you'd been grateful, you would have gotten all those things, but you weren't, and now you have nothing from me. So many kids' families can't even afford food. I want you to think about all your things and learn to be grateful." My sister and brother-in-law agreed with my actions, but my brother-in-law's parents say I was cruel to take birthday presents from a child and that they would be rebuying Scarlett the gifts I returned. I don't believe in rewarding bad behaviour, and Scarlett will never be content until she learns to be grateful. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She called you a greedy witch. If I had never spoken to any adult that way at her age, I probably would have been grounded for a year. Not sure if she has always used profanity with adults when angry, but her behaviour needs to be checked before she does it to someone who doesn't care for her the way you do. You were right to return her birthday gifts because bad behaviour should never be rewarded. Returning them was the consequence of her actions. LOL, forget grounding. My mom would have snatched the soul straight out of my body. It could be that Scarlett hasn't been seeing enough firm boundaries being kept, which is why she believes she can get away with throwing a tantrum to get an expensive item, which, given the brother-in-law's parents, it seems like she could be used to being rewarded for bad behaviour, or having consequences undone. No joke, if my kid got taken out for their birthday and pulled a stunt as this kid did, they wouldn't get a birthday celebration, period. It would be a hard, tough lesson to learn, but respect and gratitude are critical things to learn. It's honestly nuts that a young teen is acting that way.